It's May 6th, 2023, in Brooklyn, New York. Christina Lorenzo, who goes by the persona Tinzo, stands behind her CDJ controller in a New York basement. 30 people are packed into a space meant for 20, but something's different about this party. Every single phone is locked away. Nobody else is filming other than the camera set in front of the frequency conductor of the night. Instead of facing the DJ, everyone's looking at each other. And they're dancing through the night, fully immersed. No distractions. Christina curated the most resonant frequencies during her first groovy disco set. Soulful vibrations coursing through her veins. She has no idea that in the next hour, she's about to create the most viral dance video of 2023 at 20.4 million views and counting as of now. But this isn't just another DJ set going viral. This is the moment two siblings prove that everything we think we know about party culture is completely wrong. And watching these strangers and friends transform into a family of dancers, you can't help but wonder, when did we forget how to actually connect with each other? When's the last time you went to a party and actually made a new friend? See, the thing is, today in club culture, there are many gatherings where many of the partygoers are performing for their Instagram or TikTok feed, that they forget to immerse in the moment and free themselves on the dance floor. When's the last time you danced until you felt like your legs were about to fall off? But to understand how Joseph and Christina Lorenzo created what people are calling the most revolutionary party concept of our generation, we need to go back to the beginning. When book club radio was still book club, just a group chat between friends who missed seeing each other and meeting to go dancing together. Let's say you're in your mid-20s in 2022. You've spent years building friendships through late-night adventures and spontaneous dance sessions. But now, adult life is hitting hard. Everyone's busy. Work consumes your days. And those friends you used to see every weekend, you're lucky if you catch up once a month. This was exactly the reality Joseph and Christina Lorenzo were facing in Brooklyn. Two siblings who grew up in a musically inclined family, raised on their father's funk and soul records, their mother's love for theatrical arts, and their eldest brother's DJ skills.
Where does the music interests through your life come from? Like, I think that it shouldn't be understated that not anyone could just start this and be able to achieve the levels of success you have already. There has to be a level of taste, enthusiasm, understanding and respect of music as well. So where do you think that comes from?
Probably both of our parents. Like, our dad's Filipino. We always were around karaoke machines, but this man loved like funk and soul music. So we grew up like listening to music of the 70s. Our mom grew up in the 80s and she was very theatrical. So kind of like you see us doing like production design for these parties, and that kind of comes from that inspiration too. But yeah, our mom had a very different taste in music, our dad did. And so we basically took inspiration from all of those.
Yeah, also being a child of the internet, like I spent probably too much time on 4chan when I was younger.
Don't know if you want to admit that or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine to admit it. I think I came out okay.
Joseph, the visionary and mastermind who brings the grounding element with his passion and love for cinematics and film since the age of 8, had always been drawn to party scenes in movies, boiler room videos, and club culture. Christina, a multi-instrumentalist who'd been in the musical arts with her siblings since she was 11, They also were always around karaoke systems during family gatherings. Who else can relate?
I think the biggest thing that makes it a world is, one, we have the manifesto, and two, there's always a theme. That usually the theme is something that we're inspired by, that we've been inspired by since childhood. So it's like based off of our favorite books or films, or maybe just certain genres or periods of time. And so kind of being able to like live that childhood fantasy in a way, I think that also makes us way more excited about it, because we're like, okay, this isn't just a party, like we're transforming ourselves, you know? I always wanted to walk through a wardrobe and end up in Narnia, and it's kind of like our way of doing that.
But by 2022, their friend group was distant. The magic of spontaneous gatherings was dying under the weight of adult responsibilities of the 9-to-5 rat race. A lot of us are in our mid-20s, Christina would later explain. Life's getting a little more serious for people, and we're finding ourselves so busy. We just stopped hanging out, so this is a way for us to see each other once a month. They had a group chat established called Book Club, not for discussing literature, but for planning nights to go out dancing together. It was their way to reconnect bonds in an increasingly disconnected world of the advances of the technological millennia. But then, on Christmas Day 2022, everything changed. Joseph had been raising his perception for quite some time within the realm of YouTube, understanding thumbnails and titling strategies, studying what made videos resonate with the community, and understanding tonality. He'd even produced content with PBS, which channel goes by the name of Soundfield, including documentaries within the music industry and a virtual reality show about the insights on raving in the metaverse. They've received many accolades dating back from May of 2019 to May of 2021, consisting of Telly Awards from bronze, silver, and gold winners to Webby Awards. He also would receive a Midwest Emmy Award in October of 2018 for producing and directing the America from Scratch series with PBS, which were instructional and informational. In the earlier years, he personally has attained a Surreal Film Festival Award for his experimental short 42 in March of 2012 at the Dali Museum Film Festival, and was nominated for his short film Birthday Boy at Orlando's Film Festival in October of 2014 for Best Student Short Film. Then would receive an Escapism Award at Tampa Bay's Underground Film Festival in December, transitioning into the new year, leading to his Best Film Award at Toronto's Student Film Festival in April of 2015.
One, the big one, Soundfield, which is like a music documentary series. And before that, I've done others with PBS. I hosted a show on PBS called Subcultured, and all of those shows were YouTube first. When I was hired at PBS 7 years ago, my job was like create content for YouTube. And I've been on YouTube since, I think my first YouTube video was in 2006. It was a video of me and my cousin like fighting in a like 70s kitschy like kung fu style. Yeah. And so yeah, I would say that I'm very like a lot of it is not by accident, because I've been on YouTube so much and fully understand kind of best practices and, you know, understand thumbnails and titling. Like that's, book club titles have a really intentional format, which I've seen copied a lot by other channels, and I think we've created like a new style basically. And yeah, so it's been really, really intentional, like the keywords that we use in video titles.
But around Christmas night of 2022, a spark struck him that would change everything. What if we threw our own parties and filmed them, implementing theatrical elements? In most families, this might have been met with polite nods and quick subject changes. But Joseph and Christina's friends had been craving exactly this kind of creative outlet.
We first started book club, I remember it was after it was Christmas dinner 2022. I'd finished eating dinner and we were in the car, and I was just thinking about these DJ mixes, and I remember texting our group chat, which was called Book Club, by the way. Before Book Club was a thing, we had a group chat called Book Club where we would just plan out nights to go dancing, and it was reoccurring enough that we joked that we were going to Book Club. That's how the whole name came about. So I texted the group and I was just like, well, I think we could, throw a party, record DJ mixes. I have a camera. This would be really easy to do. And I just remember texting the group and actually wondering, is anyone else going to be, was Tinzo going to be interested in doing this? I was like, well, everyone be responsive to this. And so I really had no idea. I was like, honestly, maybe if everyone said that's a dumb idea, maybe it would have never happened. But everyone was kind of like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, immediately. No questions asked. We're like, when are we doing it? And so I think from that moment on, there was a lot of hoping. And, I keep saying that this process has been intentional. We just didn't know that it was going to happen.
It's high hopes, but low expectations. Me going into that first set, I was nervous, and Claudia's who's going to see it? That type of thing. But
this is what we were going for.
Yeah. I always intended to do music full time, and even as a kid I was like, I'm gonna make it in music one day, and relatives are like, that's really difficult, 1 in a million.
Yeah. And
I never knew how I was gonna do it, and definitely didn't expect it to be this way through DJing and through book club radio. But I think it's I think even more proud of it because it's something that we created, and we kind of gave ourselves the platform, which I think is super special to me anyway. I don't feel like I owe anybody anything. It's just us.
Yeah. I think back to that first time when I first thought of it.
The first book club radio gathering happened in Joseph's living room in early 2023. 20 friends, disco balls spinning, and their only requirement was that you were not on your phones. If we see someone taking a picture, we ask them to instead look at their beautiful friends and live in the moment with them. Claudia, who is Christina's significant other, would express her insights. This whole thing is going to be on YouTube, and Jack Bolger, Book Club Radio's photographer, is going around taking pictures of everyone that will post later anyways. When you put your phone away for just 30 minutes, your brain releases 40% more dopamine from real-world interactions. Without phones as escape hatches, friends in the room had no choice but to engage with what was happening right in front of them. Conversations flowed deeper. Eye contact lingered longer. And when the music started, people didn't just dance. They danced together. People that go to a party for the atmosphere don't understand that they are the atmosphere, so they have to make it themselves. A resonant reference that correlates with the manifesto, quoted from Kerry Chandler, renowned pioneer of the house music frequency. The real breakthrough derives from Joseph's alchemical palette for cinematic sequences. He shares his uplifting perception in that avenue, which is his light that he introduces to the community. Instead of setting up like a traditional DJ booth with everyone facing forward, he arranged the space so people faced each other. The DJ could see the crowd through a mirror, but the crowd's focus was with each other. Our dance floor is for dancing, and our DJs are playing music for the audience to dance to, became their philosophy. We want the focus to be on the music and not the DJ. It was working. Friends were reconnecting. Strangers were becoming friends, but they had no idea if this intimate magic could translate to camera. By early 2023, they decided to make it real. But they had one non-negotiable rule that would revitalize party culture. No phones on the dance floor. It seemed simple, almost too simple. But what they were about to discover was that this single rule would unleash something powerful and genius within the psychology of the unison of the dance floor frequency. Something most people had forgotten existed, which is quite essential for emphasizing the heritage of the dance floor. Peace, love, unity, respect, and responsibility that are life principles to transmute.
Yeah, I think that you hit something really important, because also when you ask like how long have we been DJing, we've really only been DJing for 2 years, about, give or take. But also at the same time we've done, I don't know, like 15, 16 book club sets, and each time we are playing a new style of music, mostly that's inspired by the theme, and we never repeat songs because that would be boring, you know. We can't play the same songs over and over.
But we've always been music fans. Like, we DJ'd for 2 years, but we used to make music together in my bedroom when I was 11 years old, you know. So there's still kind of, I think that's kind of all of that led up to this point.
May 6th, 2023. The night that would define book club radio. Christina had been DJing for 2 years, starting in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Though this felt different, bigger, more important. The theme was groovy disco, one of their signature themes, designed to induce pure euphoria. Joseph was running around, ensuring every angle of the night's ambience was smooth, while simultaneously hosting. Christina was behind her CDJ, reading the room through the mirror, curating tracks in real time, based on her soulful senses. Her set began with tentative energy, but within minutes, something magical was happening. The combination of no phones, face-to-face positioning, and Christina's emotionally intelligent palette for articulating frequencies created a perfect wave. People weren't just dancing, they were connecting. People were making eye contact. Smiles were infectious. The energy was building to something Joseph had envisioned from within. When Joseph watched the footage back later, he knew immediately he'd captured a special moment.
So it's kind of like a combination of sharing stuff that they already know, but introducing new stuff. But I think for me personally, I am a very emotional being, and I really love anything that's soulful or nostalgic. And so I think kind of like maximizing that in my sets has really resonated with people. Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And I think like even though that we've had like a lot of parties with a lot of, you know, upbeat, really hard mixes, it's fun to be in a party and be able to play stuff that's a little more casual listening that you don't always hear at a party. And I think people also appreciate that too.
They uploaded the video with one of their concisely articulated titles, a format that would later be adopted by countless other channels from the West Hemisphere to the East Hemisphere. No expectations, just sharing a moment of joy. The views started climbing and reaching milestones, resonating with the community, rising past 6 figures. But this was only the beginning.
I think we're just trying to find a way to compromise between the two. Because I think it is fun to film something and to relive it and to listen back to it and watch the parties and kind of have the memories come flooding back. Like, that can be really fun.
Especially when we're like running around during the party and then we can finally sit down and just watch it.
Yeah, for us especially, because we're like working during the party. I don't want every party to be like that. Like, I don't want every party to be recorded.
Yeah, that's literally how it started with friends.
Yeah, I mean, that is real. That is real. Like, it wasn't it wasn't people told to behave in a certain way other than our main rules. I think there is, I consume so many of those types of videos of DJ performing, people in the background. Like, I've watched Boiler Room since it started, and at some point it does sort of feel like people are acting in a way, or like told to act in a way, and it doesn't feel as organic. And you know, my background being in film, like, I just really love cinema, and I love party scenes, and I love party scenes from movies. And Boiler Room videos, mixed mag videos, whatever that genre of video is called, I don't really know what the name for it is, but they don't feel like party scenes. They're not cinematic in that way. And so the idea was, could we, we throw parties all the time, could we capture that in a way that feels like a party scene from a movie, that feels cinematic? And so that,
rather than a show,
yeah.
As the filmed moments gained traction, something unexpected happened. The comments section became a therapy session. This is what music used to feel like. I haven't felt this happy watching something in years. How do I find this energy in my own life? People weren't just watching a DJ set. They were remembering what authentic joy looked like. And they wanted to know how to get it back. That's when Joseph and Christina realized they needed to share what they'd discovered. They trademarked it, the Librarian's Manifesto.
We never touched on what the manifesto actually is.
Yeah.
Did you do your homework? Do you know it by heart?
I don't. I should. I don't.
It's
don't
so
face
funny.
the DJ.
Do you do your reading assignment?
It's so funny because it's just the manifesto has become so much bigger than what it is.
Oh yeah, like if people see anyone breaking it on YouTube, they'll timestamp it and be like, "This is not following rule number 4,"
Wow.
and we're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, we're like, "Dang!" And it's knowing that I just came up with it in like 4 minutes on my couch. And it's like,
Yeah, we're just workshopping wording, and then we're like, "Okay, publish."
yeah, but we didn't put that much thought into it, and now it's become this really big thing.
But I have it right here.
But yeah, do you want to read it, Derek?
Sure.
Or you want to read it, Tinso?
Yeah, I'll read it. I don't think Derek has it in front of
I don't have it in front of me now.
Okay, so it's called the Librarian's Manifesto. These are, our principles that guide our parties. Number 1, come for the music. Number 2, be open to unfamiliar music and sounds. Number 3, respect one another. 4, face each other instead of the DJ. That's a fan favorite. 5, no phones allowed on the dance floor. 6, dress to express yourself. And 7, dance your heart out.
I love that. That's perfect.
Each principle serves a psychological purpose. The phone ban enforces presence. The average person in today's society checks their phone mindlessly about 96 times per day. At a typical club, 73% of people are filming instead of dancing. And loneliness among young adults has increased 30% since 2019. Facing each other triggers social connection. When you face away from a performer, you subconsciously seek connection with the people around you instead. Themed dress codes encourage authentic self-expression despite societal norms. And when you're told to dance your heart out, your brain literally enters a flow state within 3 to 7 minutes, giving permission to be openly intimate and vulnerable. When's the last time you left feeling more connected instead of more lonely? There's a lot of gatekeeping in DJing, Joseph observed. But their manifesto was about the opposite, democratizing joy and making real connection accessible to everyone. The manifesto isn't just guidelines for their parties. It's a blueprint for reversing the isolation epidemic plaguing societal norms in this generation. You have your own persona that is true to you, and only you. Mastery and alchemy of the mind is a profound philosophy of life that one must practice within evolution of self-mastery. Book Club Radio turns the entire room into one giant feedback loop of positive energies filled with euphoria and intimacy.
You're not trying to be anything, you're just having a good time. What do you think in response to that?
I mean, I agree with Tinzo that everyone can be a DJ. I mean, I don't know that everyone should be a DJ, but maybe everyone should be a DJ. Like I every time someone's like, oh, I want to try, or, I invite them to try, and I'm always open to give tips. And, I haven't been DJing for a long time, but I firmly believe that everyone can DJ. And I think, technology has made it easier and easier to DJ, but ultimately, DJing is really just playing music for people and selecting music and playing music for them. And so, through the years, it's become more complicated and less complicated with, techniques and mixers and keeping the party alive and juggling records. But those aren't necessarily things that you need to do to DJ. Ultimately, it's just playing music for people, and I think sometimes it gets too convoluted beyond that. And I also think because everyone can be a DJ, there might be some people who don't want to be able to be a DJ because it's become so easy, and if everyone's doing it, then the competition gets a lot harder. And so I think that's where some of the gatekeeping comes from.
By summer of 2023, Book Club Radio had evolved from a friend group into a movement. The filmed memories attract hundreds of thousands to millions of views. People flying in from other countries to attend. And Joseph and Christina now find themselves becoming the faces of a new age renaissance of dance floor etiquette and club culture, and intentional community building within the music industry. But success brings challenges. How do you scale intimacy? How do you grow without losing your creative direction and core principles? As it's gotten bigger and grown and becomes more work, it can become stressful, Joseph admits. I want it to stay a group of friends having fun, intimate.
It's just always been in our veins. It wasn't a conscious decision of, oh, I'm gonna be into music. It just was always a thing in our lives.
I will say though, I did not necessarily plan on being so involved in music as an adult and also professionally. Because I said I'd done film school route, and that was, has been number one since as long as I can remember. Probably since I was 8 or 9 years old, I've wanted to do film. But I feel like Book Club is a really cool intersection of music and film. So it's just nice to be able to put all of your interests into a project.
Their solution was counterintuitive. They refuse to scale beyond their intimacy threshold. Even as demand arises, they keep parties inclusive in presence of a meeting while being exclusive to being admitted into the sanctuary by means of familiarization of the librarian's manifesto principles. They are mindful of connection over capacity before expansion to larger venues, in protection of the vision and crusade, in revolutionizing the dance floor to its roots on a growth standpoint for the overall music industry event cultivation. They built a foundational tribe of 7 who share core values. Carly, who is Joseph's significant other, organizes analytics and logistics. Claudia, Christina's significant other, and her best friend Kevin are well versed in the coordination of production and technical aspects. Jack seizes moments in time of each meeting, upholding the lens within the depths of his perspective. And finally, the librarian, who is the protector, gatekeeper, and guardian, who ensures the fundamentals of the manifesto is retained before entering the realms of the reawakening of the dance floor heritage. As it is evolving, The community is still intimate, and now it is sustainable.
What are some of the themes?
We've had so many themes. I mean, in order. In the order we had we started really simple because we didn't know how much people would get into it. So we started with like a 90s party, and then we did
like an underwater pride party.
Yeah, an underwater pride party.
We're like, nautical is so gay, let's do it.
We were trying to do like a Euro house, like Roman rooftop party, because I really love that scene from The Great Beauty where they're on the rooftop, and
yes,
that amazing party scene. So we were really inspired by that. We did an 80s prom, which was so fun. And once we did the 80s prom, then we're like, oh, these themes they have power.
We can run with it.
People showed up head to toe, like people were renting tuxes. Like it was so involved and really felt like you were in the 80s and transformed and had that 80s prom movie dance scene that I think all of us want to experience. So then we followed that up with film noir, and we filmed it in black and white. Everyone came dressed to the nines for that. And then we're like, okay, like how far can we push this? We did a Fast and Furious inspired one. I felt like that dress was going to be more abstract, and people still like showed up and showed out. It was just really impressive.
Probably the most accurate. I felt like I was in a Y2K movie. I was like, what is happening? We did Sleepy Hollow, which is probably the most involved theme, but people really showed out for it because it was Hall weekend. So
I can't even imagine, like some people, it really seems like they've put a lot of either work crafting their looks or money into it
I don't buy new clothes anymore. I just buy clothes for seriously.
I want to go to the Fast and the Furious one. I would have gone as one of the Asian gangsters in the first one, where you're driving a black Honda Civic,
Yeah.
That's the best thing too, I think, about the Fast and Furious theme, because it's very inclusive. So everyone kind of had everyone kind of had their inspirations from that.
We just did a robot uprising one because that felt topical, and then we're about to announce like a 2000s EDM plur night, which I think will be really fun because I love to play like Avicii, so I'm just going to play Avicii.
The themes and ambience becomes more elaborate, versatile, psychologically sophisticated, and aesthetically pleasing, featuring handcrafted backdrop decor made by yours truly, each within its own realm, ranging from gothic vampiric settings, dreamy and vibrant bubbly, electronic dance music festival vibe, to an atmospheric cosmic spacey retro theme, nostalgic Y2K inspired gatherings, underwater nautical pride themed, cozy house parties, vintage 80s school prom, elegant and dapper, film noir, style, scenic outdoorsy in tune with nature sessions, butterfly wonderland atmosphere, murder mystery at a nice estate, fraternity house inspired, glitch in the Matrix themed and book club's very own casino, with many more to come into fruition. Each theme served a purpose, giving the community permission to be expressive, creating shared reference points, and making the experience feel like no other in unison.
What do you see in its future?
For book club specifically, the goal is to keep it what it is as much as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, we don't want to... We're where we're at because of the magic of how this all started. So to deviate from that, I think, would kind of take away from why we're doing it in the first place.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've talked about taking it on tour, doing it in other cities, and when push came to shove, it was like maybe not, because one thing about book club that's great, you said it's like a group of friends. It's a big group of friends now because we have a lot of people that come regularly and that we've met through book club, but that wouldn't work on the road. you know, if we do it in another city every night, like that's gonna be a new group of people every time. So I think part of book club is, like you said, it's a world. It has its own fantasy lore around it with the librarian and the manifesto, and it's a place that you can travel to. It's sort of a destination, and I think keeping that as much as possible is going to be what keeps it alive, because it is really easy to, as we're blowing up, to say, okay, everyone can come and we'll sell a bunch of tickets and this could be a get rich quick thing, but I don't think
we're
that
protective of it.
Yeah, I don't think that'll last very long if it evolves into something that is not the magical thing that it started as.
Now that it has scale, it's more in a realm of protection than it is exploitation. And growing it the right way, I'm sure will come. But yeah, because I can imagine you'd do them all around the world and people would want to experience that. But I guess at the rate that it's moved, you could be doing parties all around the world this year.
We'll go around the world, but yeah, I think like in terms of growth for book club, maybe not necessarily in, you know, consistently doing 1,000 capacity, but I think growing more so in like our equipment and our tech and our production and getting more hands to help. But I think that's kind of how I see the growth, but not like expanding it just to sell tickets.
Yeah, the growth is like, we want it to be better. We want the videos to be better. We want the parties to be better. But we don't want the growth to be in more cities, and you know, we want to still be. It's like
a novelty.
It's kind of like our baby, you know. Like we don't want it to be exploited in any way.
People started copying their format globally. Book club-inspired events popped up on the polar hemisphere, each with local flavour, but the same format and core principles. They'd created something unprecedented, an inspirational formula for authentic collective connection. But their biggest test was yet to come. The third book club meeting, 90s theme in a basement. Their public debut featured 3 DJ sessions: Joseph's house set, Christina's Eurodance set, and Dougie's techno and club set. But Christina was having a blast. She'd felt like she had a bit too much to drink, feeling lively. Maybe a little too much, though she was still able to adapt through balancing the momentum of the dance floor by means of her versatile senses and palette for nostalgic frequencies.
I almost didn't post the Eurodance video. It was probably the last set of the night. I had gotten a little too lit than I wanted to, and I was just psyching myself out. And so the first few transitions, I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. People are gonna rip me a new one. And then everyone's like, I think it's pretty good. Like it's live. Like this is what happens in these scenes, and we can't pretend to be perfect, you know, we're still learning. So I was like, okay, whatever, and then put it up, and did not expect that response. But it makes sense because it's really nostalgic music, and you know, a lot of our followers or party goers who are in their 40s and 50s, like they really, really resonated with that.
I also think, I mean, to what Tinzo was saying about not wanting to put it up, we made her, because if you were in that room, Derek, it was so euphoric. Everyone was smiling. It was not, you know, on the comments, I think people like, they'll timestamp every one of your mistakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, it wasn't the cleanest.
No, absolutely not. But it was fun.
But in the room, it was so fun. And I remember just jumping around with the biggest smile on my face. How many times are you in someone's basement? And it's just a regular house party. Like, we're literally in someone's basement.
Yeah,
it's just
cops came that night.
Cops came that night. I mean, it was just a typical house party, but everyone was just dancing so hard,
Same
smiling, like getting sweaty, no phones. Like it felt so different to anything that we'd experienced before, and I was like, you have to post that because I think that energy is so infectious.
Her first few transitions were shaky. She knew it. But everyone on the dance floor didn't seem to care, since everyone was with each other to have a good time. They saw her vulnerability, her humanity, her courage to keep going, and instead of judgment, they gave her love. Did she stop the session or quit? No. Book Club Radio opens a judgment-free space. The crowd is still cheering and expressing their groovy moves. Not despite her mistakes, because of them. That moment of vulnerability, that imperfection, became one of their most beloved moments filmed. Because people weren't looking for perfection. They were there for their presence. Everyone was so happy. There were so many smiles. I kept getting chills, both siblings expressed, having blissful and euphoric senses as they recalled in their memory. That moment changed everything. It proved their thesis. Authentic connection beats perfect performance every single time.
You know, you're relatively new to DJing, like in the last few years. It's not like you've been DJing for 10 years type thing.
Yeah, that's true. I'm like, I think so. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we basically started, I guess, getting into it about a year before we started the parties, but you kind of, back to that journalism conversation, I didn't feel like a proper DJ, so literally my first full-length set by myself was recorded, and that was the first book club meeting. So you really see us learning and you see us growing in this space, which at first I was so nervous about because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not a legit DJ. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I'm so nervous. And my girlfriend's like, no one's gonna see it. Why are you? Who's gonna see it? And then literally it blows up and I'm like, okay, so it's okay. But I think it's good because I think a lot of people feel like they can't put themselves out there unless they're seasoned. And I think it's a really big learning opportunity, and I think it also just breaks the stigma that, you know, anyone can DJ.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
She said.
Today, Book Club Radio continues every 3 weeks. Same principles, same intimacy, same magic. But the real victory isn't the views or the fame, it's the community they've cultivated. At every party, there's a common question. How many book club meetings have you been to? If someone says 1, the follow-up is always, are you coming to another? The answer is inevitably yes. Everyone just feels comfortable making friends here, they observe. The Lorenzo siblings have proven that the antidote to digital isolation isn't more technology, it's more intentional humanity and connectivity. They've shown that we, as an evolving apex species, will always resonate within authentic connection. And when you create the right conditions, that connection flows naturally in lieu of the collective consciousness that serves the soul. Their movement continues to inspire equals worldwide, each adopting Book Club Radio's gravitational atmospheric ambience to their local culture. Because the Librarian's Manifesto isn't really about parties, it's about presence. It's about choosing authentic connection over performative interaction. In a world obsessed with going viral, Joseph and Christina discovered something more valuable: going deep. They proved that the most revolutionary act in our hyper-connected, disconnected age is simply turning off your phone and dancing with the person next to you. Opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. H. Brown Jackson Jr. From the Book Club tribe birthing a tight-knit community and realm, and the siblings who would set sails nationwide on an expedition to debut their B2B headlining tour, revitalizing cultural standards to its roots, establishing awareness introducing the Librarians Manifesto. They envisioned and curated an inaugural book club radio festival, upholding their values as an independent tribe for absolute authentic leverage, attracting partners that would support the crusade and renaissance of the scene. They would collaborate with Anya Sapozhnikova and Kay Burke, who are the founders of the House of Yes, Bushwick and Industry City Brooklyn, New York's renowned nightclub venue that holds a space for expression, creativity, and culture, which hosts performative art showcases of theatre, dance parties, and cabaret performances. They are also known for the annual City of God's Halloween Music Festival. This comes to light that dreams and visions are truly attainable with the proper cultivation of authenticity and articulation of creating your story. And in their intimate Brooklyn living room, growing to showcase at public venues, surrounded by friends who've become family, that's exactly what they continue to do. One phone-free, heart-centered gathering at a time.